Yeah, I mean, people just, and I'm not gonna say it's really black women. I'm gonna be
Say that.
honest.
Say that on
I'm
air.
gonna be honest.
Make sure you say it just like that.
It's
Be
really
like, it's not
well, it's
really.
recording, so I mean, we can get started. But it's honestly it's black women that is giving the. And I was talking to my homeboy about this. Like, man, black women. One thing y'all hate is y'all hate to see a successful black man with somebody else.
Not all of us. Some of
Well, I'm
us.
saying the majority. The majority is like,
There are some women who just don't even care at all, though. They be like, do what you do, just don't disparage us.
yeah, I'm that guy that if I see a black woman with somebody else, like I don't even, it don't even, like it don't even affect me. I don't even budge. I'm just like, okay, you with an Indian dude, or you with this Latino, or you with a white guy. Man, you can't even be caught walking with a white girl. You get caught walking with a white girl, that's just like, oh my God, you're just like the worst person ever.
Is there a shortage of black women, though? Like, if there was a huge shortage, right, and the pickings were slim, do you think that you would still be unaffected
I would say, and this is a bit controversial, but I used to think it wasn't a shortage, but I think it is.
of
It
good quality?
it, it it's a lot of good black women on paper, the degrees, the money, the lifestyle, but what a lot of men want, and men, like when I say men, I'm talking about myself, somebody who's an entrepreneur, somebody who's waking up every day to go get it and that will take care of a family. Like a lot of the attributes that a lot of black women have, they feel like, oh well, I check these four boxes. I got a degree, I'm educated, well traveled, I make X amount of money, I can take care of myself. Like automatically a good woman, and that's not true. Just like a man making good money and looking good, it's not automatically a great man.
Yeah.
So on paper, I mean, it's the pick of the litter. I mean, it's on paper. It's the black women is blowing out every other race to me. But when you really start to look at some of the things that a lot of men, especially powerful men, really want, I feel like a lot of black women are lacking in those areas, and it's not necessarily black women's fault. That's the problem. That's the problem with all this. It's not black women's fault. It really come back to black men not being on their shit and not being as wealthy and not having access and not having the money that allows a lot of black women to be in that feminine vibe. So y'all have to be macho woman when you 16, 17. Your parents telling you you ain't got to depend on a man. You ain't got to do this. You ain't got to do that. So I'm gonna take the responsibility on that. I'm not gonna just throw y'all out there and throw y'all under the bus and say it's y'all fault. It's really our fault because we don't have, as a collective. I mean, I might have my shit together, but it's 10 black dudes walking. All of them don't have theirs together. So now women, they can't just date me or my friends. They gotta pick from other dudes, and a lot of them just they're literally forced to be the breadwinner. They're forced to. And then once you're doing that for 15, 20 years and you meet a good dude, it's hard to undo that because you like, I'm not about to leave my job. I've been here 15 years. I'm not about to leave my career because you talking good. You ain't put a ring on it. You ain't did this. We ain't got no kids. Like, you can leave me tomorrow. And
So you're saying that's the result. Because of those things, now the result is that there aren't as many in volume women walking around with the type of attributes that a good ambitious man wants. Like the feminine characteristic qualities, not the ambition, not the.
yeah, because it's natural to y'all, but it's beat out of y'all over the 18 to 21 years you're growing up by society and by just narratives that are pushed through the media and your parents and all of this. Like, other races of women don't have that. So if they're born in their feminine energy, even when they become smart and educated and all that, they still are able to embrace the right man. But a lot of our women is beat out of you from 3 to 19, 20, 21. And even when you're 21 and like, oh, well, this is probably not the best way to think. I've been doing this. This is all I know. So, I mean, I can't really fault black women for wanting to be superwoman because their Superman is like not holding up his end of the bargain. So, I again, it's our fault. Like it's our fault. So, I know we're gonna be rambling all day, but we're gonna jump right into the show, guys. Thank you guys. The first episode was dope. We got some feedback. Um, a lot of y'all don't know Shorty Mack got a lot of fans out there. People was hitting us up like, hey, that's Shorty from so and so. And I'm just like, yeah, we working together. We building this digital daily show. I appreciate you guys. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. It's a few topics that we're going to dig deeper into. That's some of the feedback that I got too. It's like, dig a little deeper into this topic, and then some other topics I just feel like it just, probably wasn't for our audience. So we're going to stick to some of the topics that a lot of people send us. And some of the trending topics, if you've been living under a rock, is DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion is under attack. Now, it's been a lot of companies that's been saying they're getting rid of DEI. Facebook, Instagram, obviously Twitter, Jack Daniels, Walmart, Target. But Target was the one that stung the community for some reason, right? And Target made a huge announcement saying they're getting rid of their diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, but they're also getting rid of the programs and initiatives that they had set out when when the whole George Floyd thing went on. They had an initiative to get exposure for a lot of black-owned brands and put them on their shelves and at least give them a try. And I can really say, out of all the other retailers, Target was the one that you walk in there, it's an aisle where it's like, oh, it's blackety black over here. Now I don't know about everywhere else in the store, but like they had an aisle, like where it was like this is like the melanated, black owned, Latinx, whatever aisle.
Yeah.
And that's been going on for the last few years, but they made the announcement that they were moving away from those programs, and man, all hell broke loose online. People started talking about boycotting. People started talking about they're not shopping at Target no more, which is cap. People still gonna shop there. But I wanted to know your thoughts on when you saw Target make the announcement about DEI, and like what was your initial thought like when you read the headline?
So for me, the my reaction was kind of mixed. So we talked about this off camera, but Target is a Minneapolis, St. Paul based company.
Yeah.
I grew up in the Twin Cities in Minnesota. And so Target is like literally rooted in my childhood. And then on top of that, being a black woman, we love Target. Target.
Facts.
Yeah, we
Facts.
love Target. So we do spend a lot of money in there. Growing up in Minnesota, I didn't see Target doing a whole lot for the black community. I did see some initiatives. I did see some monies donated. I really didn't think they were doing as much as they could. Now, when the George Floyd situation happened, they pledged huge amounts of money to Black Lives Matter and to black causes. And so at that time, I was really proud. And I was glad to see them, take a stance and also put their money where their mouth was. So for them to kind of roll back all of this now, it makes me wonder what's their true intentions, what's the reasoning behind it. Overall, I guess I'm disappointed. As a community, we have to figure out how we want to deal with it. It seems right now everybody's really divided because, like you mentioned, Target has a lot of black brands in their store. Yeah. So if we boycott Target as a whole, those brands will indirectly suffer. Yeah. As a result of it. So I know some of those business owners have been speaking out saying, please don't boycott Target. But I think that we can still purchase those items directly from those companies. I don't think we necessarily have to funnel our money through Target if we don't want to.
Right.
But I think that if we don't all get on the same page, then it's not going to matter anyway. And I think that's our biggest downfall, like as a community, is that we can never really all get on the same page because either we can say, hey, we don't care. We don't care about DEI. We're going to support our own. We're going to put our money where our mouth is.
Right.
And whether you guys do our DEI or not, it doesn't affect us because as a community, we're already solid. Because you have tons of other cultures of communities who don't even look to the government to do anything for them.
They don't look for nobody.
Because they're very self-sufficient. So I think we either have to say we're going to practice self-sufficiency and not care what these larger entities are doing, or if we're going to center our thoughts around what these companies are doing, then we have to come together as one to take a stance against it to make an impact. But as long as we're divided, we're just kind of going to be all over the place. So personally, I'm disappointed in Target.
Hmm.
I would be interested to see what their reasoning is, behind it, because it's easy to assume what the reasoning is, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, I'm super disappointed.
I mean, I think one of the biggest problems with Target getting rid of the DEI initiatives is it symbolized progress for a lot of brands. But my thing is, if they continue to do the exact same thing without those programs, then they're still making that promise. But the problem is they're not going to continue to do that because a lot of those brands, and this is not just me saying this, the owner of the lip bar, Melissa Butler, she is from Detroit. That's what's up. What she started her company. She was a banker on Wall Street or whatever. Started her company, went on Shark Tank, and Kevin O'Leary called her and her other co-founder, two black women. He called them cockroaches on TV. Literal cockroach. He's like, y'all gonna get crushed like the cockroaches you are.
Yikes!
Literal.
I think I do remember that. I didn't know it was her.
Yes, that was her. She's from Detroit. She stood up to him. She went at him, and she literally built the business from that viral moment. Obviously landed in Target, but she has a store. She has a lot of direct to consumer traction with her brand as well. She came out and said that with Target ending this DEI, a lot of brands are going to be in trouble because they were keeping some brands around just for the optics. Because a lot of these black owned brands that are in Target are not doing well. They're not doing as good as the Doves, Head and Shoulders, and we know why. They don't have the
Well,
$100 million
yeah.
marketing budgets.
Hello, they're moms and pops companies.
Correct. They don't
Yeah.
have the marketing budget to do as good. How can you even expect Head and Shoulders or Dove to be a competitor with a company that just was started 2 3 years ago out of the kitchen, and they scraping up some funds just to even fund to go into Target.
Right.
So a lot of those brands are going to fall off just off of not having the numbers. And then the problem is once you get out of retail and you get kicked out of retail, it's real hard to get back. It's real hard to get back in because if Target kick you out, they say, damn,
What was the problem?
what was the problem? It didn't work in Target. Walmart kicked you out. Ulta kicked you out. Sephora kicked you out. So nobody is going to take that second chance on that black-owned brand. And Target was the brand that did take the chance on a lot of these brands, and unfortunately, they're going to get cooked because they're not. Because a lot of them as well, they didn't focus on direct-to-consumer marketing.
Right.
So I had a client. I'm not going to mention their names because a lot of people will find out exactly who they are. But I had a client. We were working in around 2021, 2022, and I was telling them like my whole initiative for them was y'all need to get y'all bottles out of glass because they couldn't ship them because the weight was so much. The weight shipping costs more than the actual product. So put your bottles in plastic. Now you can ship them all across the world. Y'all got people all around the world want to try your product. You can go direct to consumers. Yeah, you got some retail going on. They didn't want to listen. Well, they have two co-founders. One of them wanted to listen. The other one didn't want to listen. And the other one was the older, more mature person who called the shots, quote unquote. So they didn't. I mean, we actually canceled we canceled our agreement like 6 7 months in, and she actually reached back out to me. They got kicked out of Target. They got kicked out of I'm not sure if you know this. It's like a big retail chain. I'm trying to think of. It's a big retail chain in the South. They got kicked out of all their retail partners, and now they're stuck with all this inventory, and they can't sell it because they got it in bottles, in glass bottles. So they didn't take my advice. She actually called me and apologized. Like, hey, I was acting real uppity because I got in Target, and that's like
status
that's like a
quo.
status thing.
Yeah.
Like I'm in Target. You know what I'm saying? Like you
Absolutely.
can't tell me here you are, this social media digital manager, telling me what to do, and I'm in 50 Targets or whatever across the South. Like
Right.
she basically popped her shit at me, and I'm like, well, okay, let's cancel this contract. And what she was telling me on the phone is, a lot of small businesses, especially black-owned brands, are struggling in retail because they don't have access to the capital. So you got to fund the purchase orders, and then if you fund the purchase orders, and if your stuff don't sell fast enough,
It just sits there.
it just sits there, and the companies make you buy that back. And then if you don't have the capital, they give you a loan, and you're paying interest on your own products. So it just runs a lot of these businesses
Bankrupt.
bankrupt.
And do you remember? I don't know how much you know about hair, but do you remember Dudley hair products?
Dudley, no, I'm not familiar with Dudley.
So Chris Rock did a whole documentary called Good Hair,
Okay.
and back in the day, and it was about Dudley hair products, which was the only black-owned hair care line at the time. They did
Wow.
perms and
How long ago was this? Like
15 years ago.
15. Okay.
Yeah, probably about 15 years ago, maybe more. And so Dudley, the way that they were able to become successful was that what you just said, selling directly to the consumers, and they didn't allow any stores to carry them
Wow.
unless they went through a bunch of fire hoops. I had a hair salon at one time, and I had some of their products.
Okay.
And I had to do the most to audition to get their products in my shop. But they were really particular about who carried their product, and you were not just going to be able to buy it at a store because they wanted to maintain the integrity of the product, the contents of the product,
Yeah.
what ingredients they were putting in it, the way that they were marketing it. They just wanted 100% say so. And I mean, they were very rich, like as a family. And
Where's the brand at now? Because I never heard of it.
so now I don't even think it's in commission anymore, but I think
Did
they
they
were
sell
based
it?
out of like North Carolina. But they were around for like 50 years, something
You think
like
they
that.
sold it or they just fizzled out?
I would be curious to see. Yeah,
yeah,
but I
that's
know they became wildly successful from just having the cornerstone on the market and not allowing anyone else to sell it but them. So it's possible.
Yeah, I think it's real hard for black-owned brands to go into retail because you don't have access to the capital that allows you to fund the purchase orders for the products. Also, when you do, let's say you do get $1 million and now you can fund your purchase. Well, now you need 10 million to fund the marketing because now you got to do global campaigns. You can't just do a local thing in Texas or in Michigan. Well, no, you're in all targets. Or you might be in a Midwest region. You might be in Chicago, Detroit, the Twin Cities, things like that. So it's like, well, now you're in the Midwest. You got to do a Midwest campaign. Or you're in the South. You're in the East. So you got to do those, regional campaigns. And if you don't know what you're doing, that is extremely hard. If you don't know how to leverage social media or the radio or whatever way you can get out, it's extremely hard in order to do that. And most black-owned brands, because they don't get venture capital, they don't get investments, they don't get private equity money,
Yep.
they don't get none of that money that is out here floating for all these other businesses. They eventually fizzle out. But getting on that Target shelf does give those brands credibility.
Yeah.
So that's the problem. It's like a catch-22. It's like, well, do I sit on the sideline being this small unknown brand, or do I?
What about
get
the
on?
scaling? Do you think just the scaling of it? Do you think sometimes, like as a community, we underscore the importance of scaling, building small, building blocks?
Oh, of
like, do
course.
we want to go overnight, big, too fast? Sometimes
of
without really
course.
understanding everything that comes with.
Of course, you got to think about this too. Right now, if you're a small brand listening to this, you make all your mistakes right now. A startup, the definition of a startup is doing everything small until you could light it on fire and then it take off, right? But as a startup, you can be in a startup for a few years and you get your system and everything down packed, and now you got now you can focus on scalability. But the problem is we start our brands from the kitchen table, from some inspiration we have, and the decisions we make, we're thinking about the next 6 weeks and not the next 6 years. We're not thinking about selling a company. We're not thinking about delivering products to, 10,000 stores across America and Canada. Like, we're not thinking that large. So we might make a decision, something as small as the type of bottles you get.
Yep.
And now it's like, if Target try to put an order in for 50,000, now you got to actually go fund that. And the bottles you have is not. It was good for 5,000 bottles, but it's not really good for 50,000. So now you got to rethink, and go back to the drawing board, which costs money. So we don't think long term, and that's because we really scrapping from the bottom. We ain't never really had access to it.
Yeah.
It's not like you got a billionaire buddy or a cousin or a lawyer who you can just pick up the phone and call, who've been working in retail for 30 years. You don't really have access to that.
But you want to be getting networked early because one day you might get that big. And then that's
Yeah.
when you do want to be able to pull that card because nobody wants to invest in you until they see that you have the need for the investment. That's why when you go on Shark Tank, they ask the same questions over and over.
Yeah.
How many units did you move this year?
Yeah.
How much money have you spent so far? How deep in are you? What's your overhead? And they're crunching those numbers to see if all you need is an investment to go big because a lot of times you need more than just that.
You might need mentorship. You don't know how to hire a team. You don't know how to go recruit. So it's a lot. But let's jump into Tabitha Brown. If everybody don't know who Tabitha Brown is, she's like everyone's auntie on social media. Like she went viral. She was a E-list, C-list actor trying to make it, right? And that's not a shot at her, but everybody's out here trying to make it. She's been doing this for years and years and years. Her husband allowed her to quit her job so she can go out there and do what she wants to do in terms of the entertainment world. And TikTok. She blew up on TikTok because of her beautiful voice and talking to people. And she just got this great calming voice. I'm a huge fan of Tabitha Brown. She has a lot of products in Target. If you walk around Target, it's like she owns a corner of Target. Like her face is over here, her face is over here. She's on this. It's like they just slapped her face on like 12 products in Target. So I know she's making a lot of money because she's licensing her name and likeness. Even if she don't physically own all of those products, she helped push and
She's making money. She retired her husband.
retired her husband, did the whole nine. Now we have a video here. I want us to watch the video, at least some of it, and just really react to, some of the backlash that she got from this video. So
All right, let's do it.
I am in business in multiple ways with Target, with Walmart, and Amazon, right? I sell Donna's Recipe, my hair care products, right, are on Amazon. They're also in Target. And of course, I have a huge partnership with Target. I sell my seasonings at Walmart. I do business all over, just like many other people. And what I can tell you is, if we all decide to boycott and be like, no, we're not spending no money at these organizations. Listen, I get it. And if that's how you feel, honey, I 1000% get it. But so many of us will be affected and our sales will drop. Our business will be hurt. And if any of you know business, it doesn't just happen overnight where you can just go take all your stuff and pull it off the shelves. There's a process. And then you got to, like, where you going to put it? You got to have a place to store it. That's money, right? You got to have another place to sell it, which is almost impossible sometimes. And even if you sell online, it's a process when it comes to business. And everyone does not have the funds or the means or the availability, the space to house their own products, right? But the thing that concerns me the most, and I want you to hear me and hear me well, if we all decide to stop supporting said businesses and say, I can't buy nothing from there, even the businesses who were affected by the DEI ban, right? What that does is you take all our sales and they dwindle down. And then those companies get to say, oh, your products are not performing. And they can remove them from the shelves and then put their preferred businesses on the shelves. And then what happens to all the businesses who've worked so hard to get where they are? Then what happens, right? Now, I know that something that could solve it is ownership of these big corporations, right? It's a long way to go there. There are amazing companies like the Village Market in Atlanta, right, who support small businesses, and you can go in there and there's some amazing things that you can buy, but it's one store and it's very small. We're talking about mass market. You can't build that overnight.
Right there. That's halfway through the video. But what's your first reaction when you listen to that? Um,
I mean, she's panicking. I can tell. I'm wondering, would she make a similar style video talking to Target and letting them know, the impact that their decision is making on them, and highlighting that, or at least even speaking to that in the video? I just kind of feel like black people are kind of the victim in this,
Yeah.
and then we're being kind of like re-victimized again, if
and
that makes sense.
and then it's so weird, and I'm glad that you said that because now it kind of flipped. Like you said, we the victim, and then it flipped to where now we're like basically she's like begging her audience like, please go spend money at these places, and these places just basically said we're getting rid of all the diversity, this, that, and the third. So it's like they slap you in the face, but then they're like, it's like they had a coordinated meeting with all the black entrepreneurs,
Like, even if we did it, even if we did what Tabitha said, right? Even if we said, okay, well, we don't want, people like Tabitha to be affected. What's the alternative? Does she have one? Has she thought about it? Like, or is her bottom line the bottom line? And I'm not mad at her for her bottom line being the bottom line, because ultimately you have to take care of you and you have to take care of your family. I totally get it, but I just feel like that's not being addressed at all.
of course
That's
it's
concerning.
Of course it's not. And then you say this to me all the time, just like even on the last episode, everybody's not an entrepreneur. So the 99% of people that follow her and watch her probably are not entrepreneurs. They probably struggling artists trying to figure it out themselves, and they got a 9 to 5, they got a job, they waiting tables or whatever. So they like, screw you. I mean, you know, I'm not going to Target. I'm boycotting. I'm doing my thing because I want to stand up for the people, and it's not going to affect them, right? They can go pool their money and go somewhere else, but the people who are really going to be affected is those 10, 20, 30 entrepreneurs that have those businesses and these companies.
So
And
when are we going to have
and-
our own distribution so that we don't have to be on our knees?
Because that's essentially what she's
On her
doing.
knees
She's
right
like,
now. I mean,
she's-
with all due respect, she's literally on her knees right now.
Yes.
She's saying, like, I understand that we're being oppressed, but I don't want my pockets to be affected, so I need us all to be in agreement that we're going to continue, to be under the impression.
and I'm sure she's making money from her content, and I'm sure she's making money from her some of the
She
shows
don't
and
wanna
stuff
miss
she
none
do.
of the money,
But
though.
the real money when you are in entertainment is the brand deals or like having your own products and things like that. That's where the real money.
100%. That's why Rihanna became a billionaire after Fenty. That's why Kylie Jenner became a billionaire after her Kylie lip kits.
Yep. That's why Jay-Z became a billionaire. That's why
People from India and China understand being a merchant. And like
Yes.
they understand that in order to make money, you have to sell a product. You can sell a service too, but that product is
The product
is
can scale.
Man, you know what I mean? Like when you're selling individual units of something, like yeah, that's where the money comes in. So
I mean, you brought up a good point to where like where's the real solution here? Because essentially, it's like the Target entrepreneurs came together, and you know what was kind of crazy to me is I didn't see any men, like any black men that has their brands in Target. I didn't see any men like speaking out or like saying, "Hey, our brand is in Target. We're gonna go under." It was really all. It was all women, and maybe because Target, their demographic is more so, and some of the products that black entrepreneurs create is like hair care products, skincare products.
women are
things
the
like
main
that.
demographic, consumer
Exactly.
demographic.
So a lot of these brands, it was a double minority. You black and you a woman, so it's a home run for Target. But I didn't see. I mean, maybe I'm missing something, but I didn't see any black any black men entrepreneurs like, hey, like we're gonna go under if this don't happen. But I seen a number of black women, and that just goes to show you how supportive Target has been for those entrepreneurs over the last 3-4 years. They gave her a shot. I mean, Tabitha blew up on TikTok. That could have easily not worked in retail. It did work. She has all these partnerships, but for every one Tabitha, it's probably 10 or 15 people that just that hit for a minute, had a viral moment, got in a store, and they like cooked.
But to me, the solution is, why doesn't somebody like Tabitha link up with some other people who are as big and rich as her, and then we come up with some of our own distribution centers and some of our own stores? Like, that to me is like, why are some of the billionaires, why are the 100 millionaires not linking up to create parent companies?
I'm gonna tell you why.
And that's in everything.
I'm gonna tell you why. And I've studied this because I'm in a business. My brand's Black Millionaires, whatever. Here's the real reason. That is not how black consumers spend money. When you get your money, your paycheck from your job or whatever you do to earn money, your first thought is not, let me go spend with this black owned business. Let me go do this. Let me go do that. Your first thought is, I need to go get these products. Oh, who has these products? Walmart, Target, Costco, these Sam's Club. And then if you happen to go in there and shop a black owned brand, that's great. But black consumers do not think, hey, let me go shop with this black owned. You always see like the black owned directory and the black owned this. Those type of things never work because black consumers don't buy like that. We buy off popularity, what's popping. We buy off of what makes us feel good. I want to be in Target, or I want to wear this hair care product, or I want to do this because it's the it thing, right? It's the it thing. It's what's popping right now. We don't buy and we don't collectively think about, let me circulate our dollar. I know we talk about that and we'd had these conversations all the time, but when you get your money, most people do not think. And I'm gonna tell you this: I've been that person that deliberately been thinking like, let me find a black attorney. And I had a lawsuit about a real estate dispute. I was literally seeking out, trying to find a black attorney. I call all the black attorneys that I know. None of them will take my money. I have the money. I'm like, I got the money.
Yeah.
Here's the case. The case, I was going to win the case, but in law, if you can't defend yourself, you can't win.
Yeah.
They literally wouldn't take my money. They're like, oh, we don't litigate. We don't go in front of the judge. Why? Because the judge probably going to be racist and then this, and I don't want to lose a case. And then, so I'm like, you're scared. So I can't even, I literally had to go hire a white man. I was so mad because I'm like, I'm on the phone with these black attorneys and I'm like, just take my money. Like, just do the right.
Did you hear what you said though? So for me, it's not even necessarily about saying I want to buy black products, right? Why are we not going to a store that's black owned, even if all the products in there are not black owned, right? So
Okay, I see what you're saying.
why is there not a black owned version of
Walmart
Ulta? Why is there not a black owned version of the beauty supply stores? Just the Asian owned beauty supply stores. Why do we not have that? Why do we not have the black Sephora, the black whatever? Like, black women spend more on beauty and hair care than white women do 10 times over. So where are our big stores with our stuff? Because I shop out of convenience. What's the closest store to me that I can get to the fastest that has what I know I need in stock likely? That's how I shop as a black woman. So it doesn't even have to be necessarily black-owned products every time, but we should have a store. That way, when Tabitha has an issue with Target, she can pull her stuff out of there and go to XYZ store that sells home goods and beauty products. And
I would say to that, I don't think a distribution center is sexy. We tend to go for the entertainment. We tend to go for the person who's on front of the camera. We tend to want to be that person that's throwing the football instead of the person, building the football stadium. So everybody's dream is to get on Target shelves, not to put Target out of business or not to compete with Target. And so when you get Target is a logistics company, just like it's a retail company.
There you go.
How those products get there?
There you go.
Well, now we need 100,000 truck drivers.
we have all the pieces though.
We have a lot of truck drivers.
We have black truck drivers.
We do.
We can own the warehouses.
We can.
We
I know
can.
black people that own warehouses. I do.
We literally have all the pieces. What I think we don't have is an intentional pipeline. Like, we're not creating an intentional pipeline. That's it. I think it's about connecting the dots. I think all the dots are there. I think that they need to be connected, and they're going to have to be connected by people who have an entrepreneurial spirit. They're going to have to be connected by people who have an entrepreneurship understanding,
Hmm.
the education, and then the people with the capital, like the Tabithas. That's what I'm saying. Like, people like Tabitha, why don't you invest 10% of your income with 10 other people and then create that pipeline and open the first store and then let there be another one and another one? It's the fear. Like, even what you said with the attorney, oh, we don't want to litigate because what if the judge is racist? And that's actually a very fair fear
That's
to
fair.
have,
That's
right?
very fair.
But so what I'm saying is that we have to address the problem at its root. So that's my take on that.
Yeah, and
That's the only resolve. Otherwise, we're going to be stuck in this vicious cycle that we're at where we're like, oh, hey, I know that Master's not good to us, but he's been good to me. So if you guys be good to me, I'll be good to you, and pass some of the goodness on. It's like, that's not going to work.
yeah,
Like,
that's
we got
basically
to
it in
address
there.
the problem at its root. We've got to uproot the problem. We've got to create the pipeline. And then people who have the capital but maybe not the know-how need to be willing to invest. My goodness. And if they're not willing to invest, then do away with making individual people rich. Bye, Tabitha. Sorry. You know what I mean? If all the rich people care about is being individually rich, then bye.
Right.
Because Donald Trump is rich, and every single day of this presidency, he's going to be doing an executive order every day to stand on business for the things that he believes in.
Making everybody around him
Whether
rich.
you and I agree or not, he is going to stand on business every single day by signing executive orders. This man signs more executive orders than any president in the history of the presidency. Okay? So if our rich black folks only care about being individually rich, then I don't know what to say.
Yeah, and then
Because we're the ones making them rich. So,
Reverend Al Sharpton, he took a unique approach to Target getting rid of DEI. Costco is a competitor to Target and a competitor to Walmart, Sam's Club, the whole nine. They stood on business and said, we believe in our DEI programs. We're going to keep our DEI hiring practices, because DEI is not just about business. It's also about hiring and, management programs to train, minorities. They stood on business and said, we're going to keep our DEI initiatives.
Mm-hmm.
So that led everybody on social media to say, yes, we're going to shop at Costco. Let me get me a Costco membership, right?
yeah.
And I have my thoughts on that, because I'm like, well, if you really look at the shelves of Costco and compare those to Target, I'm willing to bet my money that Target has more representation, but I digress. Reverend Al Sharpton took it upon himself, and him and 300 other people, to do a buy-in in Costco, meaning they're going to take their black dollars and literally go into Costco, and they had the news out there and everything, and all 400 of these black people are now spending all of their hard-earned money at
Sorry.
Costco's
Yeah, I mean,
as a shot to Target.
it's pointless. I'm pretty sure that Target is super unbothered. I'm pretty sure that Walmart is super unbothered. I'm pretty sure that the spending that they did in Costco on that one day did not create a huge uptick in their revenue
At all.
for the year. Again, it's more symbolism and it's more begging to be accepted. Costco did what they did because that's what they believe. So they don't need us to turn around and, reward them and show all
Correct.
this symbolism. Great job, Costco. Keep it up.
And just because they have the initiative still up on their website, or they say they're going to do it, doesn't mean they're actually executing on all of the things that they promised during the George Floyd 2020 riots. Because I can have some symbolism, and I can have one or two brands to be my success story, but at the end of the day, where's the real work? Where's the real results? And we never get the real results of all of these promises any of these companies do. So, Reverend Al Sharpton, I feel like
We
you
care
just
more
really,
about the symbolism. That's why.
it's really all about him getting on the news and him being in people talking about him, because that moves the needle. How? For you to take your money from this white billionaire over to this white billionaire. How is that helping? What you should have did is say, all right, I'm going to go live on Instagram. We're going to pick some online businesses, or we're going to go to some retail stores or whatever owned by minorities, black women, whatever, and we're going to funnel our money through that company. Now, that would have been impactful. The revenue that those 300 black folks could have brought to a black-owned business, that would have been
There
impactful.
you
But
go. Or
Costco,
how are we going to crisis manage the people who are going to be now losing out from the Target and the Walmarts,
right?
right?
You
What's the
should.
strategy on that? But just know that Reverend Al Sharpton, and no disrespect to him, like I've talked to the Reverend plenty times, very nice guy, and I appreciate everything that he's done. He's put his life on the line for us. I get it. But anybody whose career is rooted in crisis management cannot thrive without crisis.
Correct.
So just know that. Just know that police can't have a job without crime. Judges can't have a job without crime. The Red Cross can't have an organization or donations without tragedy. So, not saying that those people or organizations don't have their place in society, they do, but just know that the people who deal with crisis management and whose careers depend on it are not going to be the leaders who are going to lead us out of the problem. They might create awareness, shine a light on it, but they're not going to be the actual problem
Yeah,
solvers.
he's the type of dude.
And if we're looking for them to be the actual problem solvers, then we're being really naive.
Yeah, Al Sharpton, the type of dude that's going to sit around and, like you said, see the problem, analyze it, and be able to articulate on camera what's going on. But then once the camera go off and the job is done, he's articulated. He has no plan, no type of follow through, no type of, and that was kind of my. That
Because
was
that's
kind
not
of
his job, though.
yeah, and that was kind of my gripe with Kaepernick. It's like, yeah, you got everybody riled up. What's the follow through? And he ain't really had no follow through. That's been Reverend Al Sharpton his whole career. It's like you said, this goes on. Oh my God, I'm getting on the news. I'm talking. I'm communicating the problem, and I can talk about the problem and the issue all day. But when it comes to actually executing and doing something, boots on the ground, you decide to take 300 black people to Costco because they said we're keeping our DE&I issue. I mean programs. We're keeping them up. That what does that mean? Why did y'all even need a DEI program to begin with?
Okay.
Because you guys were not standing on business when it came to hiring minorities.
Well, because of integration. Because with Dr. King, we started begging for a seat at the table instead of making our own table. So that's the bed that we got in, and that's the bed that we've been laying in the whole time. That's our current circumstance.
Yeah, so
Build a table. Stop begging for a seat at one.
Al
Where-
Sharpton, I mean, you shot and you missed, bro. Like honestly, like that was whatever you tried to do, and maybe his goal was just to get on the news. I mean, ABC was out there, CNN. He got an interview on a big, news. So now his name is in the tabloids. Everybody's talking about it. He's good. He's going to get another speaking engagement. He's going to get another, interview on a major news network or whatever. But none of those businesses in Target have any type of plan to figure out this next year or two because most of them are going to go out of business.
So where's the business strategists? We need you now. Where's the consultants? Like, we need you.
Yeah, and I think it's a big problem in our community too. We all look for one leader and say, hey, what can we do?
Yeah, no, we need all of them. We're never going to have another single leader again. We know that
Yeah.
from COINTELPRO Pro. So as a collective, we need leaders, multiple, and leaders in different areas too.
I like what you said that. I mean, I like that you said that because it's the leaders in different areas that I think we miss on.
We need leaders in the medical industry. We need leaders in the legal practice in different areas. We need civil lawyers. We need criminal lawyers. We need so much, but we really do need people who are experts in their different respective fields to really stand up and say, out of the year, I'm going to donate 20 hours out of my year, right, to working with other people so that we can help the community and do it as a collective, not individually. That's why fraternities are so successful, because they're one organization that have hundreds of chapters, and they all get together annually, regionally, nationally, and they all have their different roles and their different parts that they play.
Yep.
So it's never going to be one person. It's never going to be a few people that are going to get us where we need to be. It's going to be a collective of leaders in different areas who all stand up and say, whatever I have in my brain that I can contribute, I want to go ahead and do that.
Yeah. Do you watch football?
I do.
Okay, who's your team?
The Minnesota Vikings.
Ah.
Who you guys
I'm a
You guys,
Lion. I'm a Detroit Lions.
yeah,
Ah,
yeah, y'all
yeah,
did us
yeah.
real dirty at the end of the year. I didn't really like that.
Yeah, we kicked y'all. We kicked y'all. We kicked y'all butt.
You did.
But the Super Bowl is coming up, so we got the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Two black quarterbacks, and we did a post online that sparked a lot of controversy, right? And this is like a topic that comes up every time a Super Bowl happens over the last 5 years, because Pat Mahomes has been in the Super Bowl the last five, I think, out of 7 years, and he's won three or four. I'm not sure about that, but we got Jalen Hurts, who's the starting quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles,
Yep.
and we got Patrick Mahomes, who's the starting quarterback for the
Kansas City
Kansas
Chiefs.
City Chiefs.
Yeah.
They're in the Super Bowl. This is the second time in history that two black quarterbacks are actually facing up against each other in the Super Bowl. The first time it was Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes won, and I believe that was in 2022 in Arizona. I actually went down to Arizona for that for the game and watched it and all that. I didn't go to the Super Bowl, but I was like around, right? Um, but now the debate is coming up saying that Patrick Mahomes is not black. And
We just can't be happy, can we?
we can't be happy, right? We're basing that, and when I say we, I'm talking about the black community online, right? I'm not talking about me. My thoughts is I'm a one drop rule type of person, and what I base you being black on is if you get pulled over by the police and you're on the front page of the news for doing something you don't have no business doing, what are they going to call you? If they're going to call you black, then you're black. That's just my rule. So Patrick Mahomes has a black dad. I mean, he's blackety black too. I mean, he's like
dad.
Yeah, the dad. I don't
Okay.
know if you've seen him, but like he be in he be in the stands with the fans like tripping.
Okay.
Like he's blackety black. His mom's white, from Texas, from Tyler, Texas, and I believe he was raised with his mom. He's an excellent football player, has a white wife. So now everybody says he's not black because he's not a part of the quote unquote black culture, which makes him not black. But Jalen Hurts, he's obviously black. He has a black wife. He's a Q, which is, he's in a fraternity, a black fraternity. So now when I say there's two black quarterbacks competing, they say no, Patrick Mahomes not black.
How does Patrick Mahomes identify?
I mean, he's addressed being black before. Like
What does
people
that,
ask
what does
him.
that mean?
What that mean is like when they asked him like, well, you're the first black quarterback to do this or whatever. He's addressed like, But what I want,
What does he say?
I mean, he said that's amazing, XYZ. But what I want what people want him to do is they want him to march for civil rights and act and be like an active like a
Do they? I mean, is that
Well-
true? Jalen doesn't. Nobody's expecting that out of Jalen.
Okay, but here's the problem. Jalen has the symbolism of what the black community wants. He has the black family. He has a black wife.
Okay, so they don't want Patrick Mahomes necessarily to be marching for black people. They want him to have a black wife.
I think so. That's what they want.
Okay, so for me, for biracial people, I know I'm gonna get some kickback on this. I feel like when it comes to people who have a white parent, biologically, right? I look at them as being as black as they want to be.
I can agree
Right?
with that.
So
Okay.
if a biracial person says to me, yeah, I'm black, I identify as black, you got it. You're black. I got no debate for you. However, 100% of people who have a white parent don't identify like that. So you have to talk to them, right? So like I said, if a biracial person says to me, I'm black, I identify as black, I have a black lived experience, you got it. If a mixed person says to me, I'm mixed, right? I don't identify as black, I'm mixed, then that's what you are. If they say I'm biracial, I don't want to be, just
Either
boiled
side.
down to being black, right? I think just calling me black does a disservice to my white side, or whatever, right? Then
Right.
you're that. You're as black as you want to be.
But you're
So
still black.
but you're still black. You're as black as you want to be, is what I'm saying. So
But you
because
can't erase the fact that you are
but
black.
some of them don't even want to be called black. Some of them will tell you, I'm biracial. I want to be called biracial. I'm mixed. I want to be called mixed. Some of them will say, I'm black and German, and that's what I want to,
Right.
So to me, you are what you identify as. I don't assume that every mixed person identifies as black. Um, and, as a black woman, I do like to see Jalen Hurts with a black wife. I do think that that's dope, and that that's the highest honor to me that you can give to the black community is having a black family. So yeah, like I love to see that dynamic. I don't know how Patrick Mahomes identifies or what his take on his own race is.
Okay, let me ask you this question because you had on a bunch of good points. Okay, so the bottom line is Patrick Mahomes is black. We know that he has a black dad. He has a white mom. He's black, but if he doesn't want to identify as black, and all that means is he embedded in black culture?
Exactly, because white people are going to tell you you're black even if you're mixed. They don't
Correct.
care about you being mixed, right?
Correct.
But it's about your individual identity. And that's what I'm saying is like, if somebody's telling me I don't want to be called black, I am biracial, I am mixed, then that's what they got to be, because that's their choice. You know what I mean? It's their identity. So I think that as black people, we're doing them a disservice by saying you need to be identifying as only one thing. But when you're not identifying as black, when you're saying I don't want to be called black, then that to me is like, okay, well then I would think that maybe what you'd be willing to do is going to be limited as well, because you're going to go towards the things that you identify with. You're going to have, help and volunteer in the areas where you feel passionate about, where you feel connected and compelled to do so, right?
Okay, so here's a GQ. No, this Bleacher Report.
Okay.
So Patrick Mahomes speak on people saying he's not a full black quarterback in GQ cover story. So he was speaking in GQ.
Okay.
Patrick Mahomes has expressed pride in his black heritage in response to people online who label him not fully black. The Kansas City Chiefs star shared his perspective in an interview with Clay Skipper of GQ. I've seen people on Twitter, he calling y'all out, have tweeted and said, "Oh, you're not fully black." But I've always just had the confidence and believed in who I am. And I've known that I'm black, and I'm proud to be black. I'm proud to have a white mom too. I'm just proud of who I am. And I've always had the confidence in myself. The more I mature, I've learned that I was blessed to be in a situation that I was in. And that's really that's
And
really
and
it.
that one line that
Hold on, he
said
posted
about
something
his
for George Floyd. He posted something on George Floyd. It's real long, so I'm not gonna do that. But he posted something.
the one line where he said, "And I'm proud to have a white mom."
I knew you was gonna go there.
Let me land it. Let me land it. I feel bad for people who are mixed, who have a white parent, who feel like they have to champion the rights of that white parent. Because white people are not an oppressed minority in this country, and they don't need covering and protecting. The covering and protecting should be on the opposite, right?
Of being black.
So it should be the white parent saying, I'm proud that I have a black child. I don't think that it's the job of the black child to be like, what about my white parent? What about them? They laid down and made a baby with a black person, knowing fully well in America that child is going to be considered black. So the need to want to come to the rescue of their white family and their white parents, to me, is like a little disheartening and concerning, because I really feel like that protection should always be the other way around. One, because they're a parent, so it's always the parent's job to
He
protect.
said something about the black family first, though. Like being
No,
black first.
no doubt. But what I'm saying is that even in his stance, I'm black. You guys are saying I'm not black, but I am. Even in that statement, right? He still had to make sure that he didn't leave his white mom out. Because what happens with mixed kids a lot of times is that they feel like, what about the feelings of my white parent? I don't want them to think that by me really digging my heels and embracing into my black identity, that it's somehow taking away from or disrespecting your role as my parent and the fact that you loved me and you cared for me. And that's not their job. It should never be. Not when they're a child, not when they grow up.
Well, let me say this then. Because black people are an oppressed community and everything about, you know, the narrative and the history around being black in America is us overcoming some type of form of oppression. We're allowed to say, we're allowed to, it's culturally acceptable for us to be black and proud. It's culturally acceptable for me even to have a brand called Black Millionaires. I meet a lot of white people and they be like, "Oh man, I know you from Black Millionaires." I be like, you know, it kind of shocked me at first. Like when black people say it, I be like, "Of course you know me." Like, you know, my brand, whatever, whatever. It makes sense. You're into finance. Like, oh, that makes sense that you found my brand. But when white women from St. Louis, who I ain't never met, but we just in a you know, we're on a connecting flight. And she's like, "Oh my God, like James Hill, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, what's up?" She like, "Oh, I saw a YouTube video or I saw this and I saw that." And I'd be like, damn, that's crazy. She be like, "Yeah, I follow the brand Black Millionaires." And in her mind, it's okay for me to have a brand that's called Black Millionaires.
It absolutely is.
It is because of the history of Black Americans.
Correct.
However, if it was on the other side, if it was anything white, I'm white and I'm proud, or white millionaires, or this, it wouldn't even sound right. It wouldn't even make sense.
But we know why. When I was in high school, a white kid asked one of my white teachers during Black History Month. He was like, "I don't think it's fair that we have Black History Month. You know, when is White History Month?" And my teacher said to the white student, "The other 11 months of the year."
Right.
This was a white man as a teacher, right, telling another white student 11 months out of the year is White History Month.
Well,
so the fact that we highlight what black people do in 1 month out of 12.
Yeah, I mean, Black history is American history.
So
to
yeah.
me. But I can understand, like, with him being mixed, him wanting to, like you said, no matter how much he say he's black and he's proud, he's always got to hold the hand of his white mom, like.
But that's too bad because that's the mom. She made him,
and
not the other way
I
around.
believe he was raised with it by his mom, though. Like, he was raised, let's say the parents separated. I don't know this for a fact, but I'm just saying, like,
right.
I believe he was raised, like, by his, on the white side of his family.
Yeah.
And he's married to a white woman. So my point is, if he was married to a black woman, then the black women that are saying he's not black, because it's really the black women online saying he's not black.
We let him live because Barack Obama got a white mom, but he married Michelle. We let him live.
J. Cole got a white mom too.
We let him
live. But they
live.
look black though.
Nah, I mean J. Cole is light skinned. Jalen Hurts is light skinned.
Nah, J. Cole look black. If you saw J. Cole from across the street, you'd be like, "That's a black man." All day.
Maybe.
You would never, like, if you saw Pat Mahomes from like across the street, if he walking with a group of white guys, you wouldn't be like, "Oh, that's one black dude." Like, you wouldn't be able to.
We just feel like
he's very fair skinned.
We just, now that it's two, you know how we are as black people, we're never satisfied. Okay, we got two black quarterbacks in the Super Bowl. You think we'd be ecstatic, right? No, we have to create like a new underlying topic. So now we just feel like one quarterback is blacker than the other. So now that we got two black quarterbacks, now we want to root for the blacker.
Black people, you can't make your motherfuckers.
And I heard your dig at black women too. Oh, it's black women that are so concerned. No,
I'm just reading the comments.
We are concerned though.
Like, I just read the comments, and it's really the black women that are attacking.
Is that a terrible charge that we want you guys to marry us?
No. I'm just saying. However, when the roles are reversed,
yes,
and black women are with a white man or with somebody else,
I don't like it.
Man, they be cheering them on. Go ahead,
who be cheering them on?
Black women.
Well, here's the thing. I don't cheer it on. I don't like it either way. I know I'm gonna get some kickback for that, but I don't like it either way. I don't cheer it on. But what I will say is that white women are the standard of beauty. So when a white man does get with a black woman, in the sense of like wanting to marry her and have a family, it is kind of like, oh, what do you see in her? Because his parents did not teach him that black women were beautiful. Magazine covers did not teach him that black women were the standard of beauty or desirable or any of that. So I think sometimes
it's the shock value that
well, it's like you must really like her. Because
I've heard that a lot.
All your family and friends are going to give you slack. Society's going to be looking at you like, what are you doing with her? Black women are not desirable to other races at the same rate that black men are. So it's like when black men deal with a white woman, it's like, oh yeah, okay. When the other way around, we're like, even black men will look at a white dude and be like, what did you see in her? Like I think that they're going against the grain in that sense. So it is like a little bit more like, okay, maybe this is what he really wants. Because I think a lot of times when black men get with a white woman, it's for a status quo to look better. But a white man doesn't look better with a black woman on his arm. So it makes me feel like, oh, maybe this is a little bit more organic or genuine, because what does he really have to benefit from that? I mean, besides the fact that she's an incredible woman. We saw the after the black girlfriend effect videos,
Yeah,
right?
and see, the fact that that's even a trend lets you know it's socially acceptable for black women to date outside their race.
Well,
But
they have to kind of now.
when a black man is doing it, and then every time a black man dates somebody other than a black woman, it's always a reason. Maybe he hates his mom. He hates all these black women. And it's just like, no, maybe she was the girl. Like when I was in college, I'm being honest. When I was in college, like the girls, like, okay, I was a sports journalist, right? So I was always around. A lot of my friends were athletes, and I used to hang around them. So I ain't really getting too much love because I'm just a journalist. I'm just the guy there, But all of these are the stars on the football team, basketball team. I literally used to see them dealing with black women and dealing with white women, and it was night and day. The black women, they still wanted them to fund their lifestyle. They still wanted them to buy them this. They still wanted, like, they wanted them to. They wanted. These are the stars on the team. The black women wanted the men to cater to them.
Yeah.
The white women catered to the man, to the star.
Yeah, they can.
The white women coming. Hold on, listen. The white women coming over. They cleaning up the crib.
They came from homes where they were being catered to.
They bringing Starbucks. Oh, I got your favorite Starbucks.
They got it.
They doing their homework. They doing all of that.
They got it.
No, these are things that anybody could do. This ain't about money.
No,
this ain't about money.
The white girls got it though. They got the extra level of smarts because they got a better education. They got that extra money to buy you snacks and coffee because their parents.
Black women got that money
because their parents.
too.
But what I'm saying is the mentality, right?
It's the mentality.
When you're a white girl
exactly.
and you've been catered to pretty much your whole life, when you can be like, "Daddy," but Daddy, you know what I mean?
Right.
And you've been catered to the whole time. Now, when you're stepping out, it's like, "Oh yeah, let me cater to you because I've been catered to the whole time."
Right, but those are some of the intangibles that I talked about.
But those are outcomes that came from a white community. The white community created a situation where their women could turn out a certain way. And what black men want,
fault is it?
Black men want to be able to benefit off of what the white community has created for their women. Oh, this white girl, she got such a good attitude. Yeah, because she could be like, "Daddy, I need this."
So should the black man put up with
raise daughters that you're catering to so that they can grow up and then be in their soft era to be able to cater to a man when they grow up?
I know, but I guess my question is, as somebody who was the fly on the wall in college, and I'm seeing this, what do I tell to the black woman who's coming to me and say, "James, like, I don't understand why."
That's too late.
Like, I don't understand.
You
like,
tell
what's
her
going on?
the white girl got it like that. Right now, this man, he's not in his era where he want to cater to you and really stand on business and be a man. He wants to be, catered to. So he got to have that. So the solution isn't going to come with the grown-ups that we already have now. The solution comes in how we're raising our daughters, what type of women we're
don't seem like we're doing a good job of.
But if you ask me, that's where the fix comes from. When you have daughters in the house that have mommy and daddy, right? And they got a great education and they have extra money because they were able to have a little side job and save 100% of their money without having to pay for their, living costs and all of that. Then they can go to college and be relaxed and carefree.
The problem is
we don't have relaxed, carefree women because we don't have relaxed, carefree young women and little girls.
And the problem is the minute a lot of black women, not all black women, but the minute a lot of black women get some type of degree, some type of money, their thought is, "Oh, I don't need a man. I don't need nobody else because the only thing I look for in a man is the ability to provide. Therefore, I can provide for myself. Therefore, I don't need that man." Right? which is problematic because yeah, you're doing your thing, but now y'all say our biggest thing we can do is to marry a black woman and have a black family and do all this. So that's our biggest accomplishment. But when y'all have y'all accomplishments, we're not even there to celebrate because y'all X'd us out because y'all
Yeah.
all on independence
That's
now.
that's a byproduct of having money. So
What you mean?
okay, if I know
Well, when
if I-
black men
a
have
man-
money, they try to multiply and help everybody around them. That's just that's men in nature. When men have money, they think about people around them. I'm talking about good
when,
men. I ain't
when,
talking about the
when,
futures of the world who got
when
100
men
baby
get
mamas.
money and they didn't have it before, I've seen 50% of them turn egotistical.
Oh, everybody gonna be
meaning,
egotistical. What does that mean?
well, the men that have money that are providers. I want a woman that's agreeable. Don't argue with me. What I say
Is
go.
that
I'm the
egotistical?
Absolutely. It's a byproduct of you saying I'm bringing in the money, right? So what is the difference between a man saying
Hold on.
Oh,
How's that egotistical?
well,
Because he want a woman that's agreeable and all the things you just.
because you want somebody to cater to you because you got the money. So that's
But
what
you should be catered to because if you're the star, if you're the star,
Oh, but that doesn't
you the
apply when
man.
it doesn't apply when the woman is the breadwinner? You see the
but
dilemma there?
But yes, because y'all don't want that. That is not what gets y'all off. Y'all don't want to be. Y'all don't want a submissive man.
No, the
Y'all
attitude.
want a leader.
The attitude is the byproduct of having, and I'm taking the gender out of it. When a man is making most of the money and he's paying all the bills, he wants to feel like I need a certain level of respect that comes with that, and I need a certain attitude from you to help to make it easier for me to continue to be the breadwinner.
He
right?
deserves that. He deserves that.
So what I'm saying is that when a woman, right, goes from I really didn't have a lot of money, but now I have 2 master's degrees and a PhD and I'm making $250,000 a year, the byproduct of that is also going to be that attitude of now I'm the leader and I need a certain attitude out of you and I need you to be able to cater to me. So what
it
I'm
shouldn't
saying
be
is
like that.
but that's the byproduct. That's the attitude is the byproduct of having the money, regardless of the gender. So if you guys want women to not have that attitude, then don't put them in a situation like we said at the beginning of the conversation, where they have to be the primary breadwinners the majority of the time.
Well, it ain't even about being a primary breadwinner. It's just about
You want somebody to have money and then
no.
chill out too, and that just doesn't always happen.
If they have money. Just like even with it's a correlation, but correlation doesn't equal causation. But there's a correlation with the higher in education a woman has, the more likely she is to get divorced. Why? Because she like, well, I can just go out and fend for myself, so I'm out. Like I don't even need to deal with this guy because I make 150, 200,000, so I can dip. Okay. On one hand, y'all tell men that the greatest thing, greatest accomplishment he can have is marrying a black woman, having a black family, etc. But then on the flip side of that, when the rabbit got the gun, when you got it, you don't want that black. You don't even want a family. You don't want that black family. You just like I just want to travel and
no, we
and
do.
be on girls trips. And
we do still want that. It just becomes harder to find a man that's
of course,
also
because
at that
now
level.
y'all want a guy that
At that level.
nah, y'all want a guy. Y'all women always want a guy that's above them.
Okay, let's say that we want the guy that's above. Is that a terrible thing to want?
It's not, but it's just still hard to put on any man.
It's
if
hard
you're
because
making
y'all not living up
200
to
or-
it.
Well,
Y'all
no,
not
if you're
living up
making,
to it. If
nope,
we can
most people
make
not making 200,000.
if we can make
That's
100,000,
1%.
if women can make $100,000 in a world that's a man's world, what is going on with y'all? Why y'all don't want to be competitive?
That's easy to say. That's easy to say because
It's a man's world. We make like 75 cents on the dollar. What you guys make?
on average,
Yeah.
but individually, it don't add up that way. Like y'all make that on average because it's a lot of stay-at-home moms and stuff like that. But if you're talking about individually, like if you look at somebody,
No, I'm talking about pound for pound in corporate America. I'm not talking about per capita, the number of women. There's way more of us anyway than there are of y'all. But I'm talking about if you take the number of women who are in corporate America, the number of men who are in corporate America, we're making
Right, but-
75 cents on the dollar, which you guys
here-
are making.
Okay, I guess here's what I'm asking. Why, if you make 200,000, right? All your needs and wants are met with that 200,000. Other than the fact that you don't have the leader, you don't have the man, you don't have the person that you want to be with. Now the person can't even make 200 Because if the person makes 200, I had a friend who was dating a girl. She was a physician assistant. He works in finance. She comes over his house. She sits down, look at his penthouse apartment overlooking the stadium downtown. She's like, "Oh, this is pretty nice. This looks really good. Seems like you can afford that with the salary that I think you have." Like, he like, "What does that even mean?"
She's already
Look,
crunching the
look,
numbers.
she crunching the numbers. He like, "What does that mean?"
Yeah.
She like, "Yeah, this seems like you probably make around XYZ." She's like, "Well, I make 140. So, I don't do you make that or above that living here?"
You see how she's being transparent with what she
But-
makes
but-
though?
but-
Men don't even want to talk.
And she
Why
asked
are
him,
you
look, and she
asking me?
asked
But
him-
she told him what she
And
making.
she asked him like, "Do you make more than 140?" And if he would have said, "No, I make 150, I make 140," she would have looked down on him. He makes more than 140. But if he would have shitted on her and say 140, like I made that last month. If
But
he
she
would've
would have
said
liked that. I would like a guy to shit on me. Shit on me.
Right, but if I had to shit on you, now I don't want you. Now I want the.
Why though?
No, I don't want you because you giving that
Why do
attitude.
you guys-
You're not agreeable.
Why are you guys so upset when women try to financially vet y'all?
No, because you're basically telling me if you don't make what I expect you to make,
What's
I don't
wrong
want
with
to date
that?
you.
What's wrong with that? You know we're the carriers
That's
of
a-
babies?
That's a big problem.
You think so?
Yes, that's a
So
big
it's
problem.
a problem if we
Let's jump into the last topic. This is going to be an exciting topic because I wanted to cover this story so many times, but so many things just kept happening. Every time I said I was going to cover the turkey leg hut, something else happened. Something else happened. So for the people who are not familiar with the turkey leg hut, a couple in Houston, they just a regular couple. One young lady went to school. She was educated. She was the organizer. Like she was the brains behind the business. And then one guy, you guys can look this up. But one guy, he was the hood dude, very popular. Everybody knew him. Everybody respected him. And they came together, power couple in Houston, black power couple in Houston. They created the turkey leg hut. Now she did a cover story with Essence, blaming him for the downfall. So we gonna go through this and break this down. So her name is Nakia Holmes. So
shout out to Nakia. I bought my turkey on Thanksgiving from her. $250 for that turkey. That lady getting her coins.
Okay.
Okay.
So Nakia went to a salon or whatever, met her husband there. Shortly after that, they started a business. They started the business at the Houston Rodeo. For people who don't know, the Houston Rodeo is a big deal in Texas. It goes
is.
on for like a month straight.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So for 28 days straight, they bought a vendor booth. They start selling turkey legs. Took off like wildfire. Shortly after that, incorporated LLC. Man, we're starting the business. We're going. They find a location in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
The location wasn't great. They're rookie entrepreneurs. They signed a bad deal, but they got a store. It's popping. In that 6-month time frame, I told y'all he was a hood star, neighborhood star. He goes to jail. He goes to jail for like fraud on the IRS, identity fraud, sometimes, whatever. So he goes to the feds. He gets sentenced to like 4 to 5 years. This is in 2016. Okay. So in 2016, by the time he go to jail, the Turkey Leg Hut first location shuts down. Bad deal, bad marketing. They don't really know what they're doing. They're just trying to get their feet wet, whatever. He's in jail. She opens up a second location. I told y'all she the brains behind it. Okay.
Mm-hmm. The woman?
The woman.
Yeah.
So they came together. She quit her job by this time. She was a project manager at a litigation firm, according to her in the Essence magazine cover. So during this time, they pooled the capital together and opened up another location. This location starts to do pretty well just to stay afloat. They're making a name for themselves in the neighborhood. People like, oh, I thought y'all went out of business. Oh, no, we rebranded, got a new location. So by the time it starts to pick up, he gets out of jail.
Okay. Welcome home.
Welcome home. You know the welcome home. You in the hood. Everybody come support.
Yep.
He's a neighborhood celebrity superstar. Boom. Turkey Leg Huts takes off, it becomes a household name. I'm talking about Drake,
Yeah.
Bun B, all the Jay Prince, all the top
Yeah.
people that's in Houston.
Line rap
You know
down the
Drake is
block.
Houston, Atlanta, Vegas, right? That's his
Yeah.
whole thing. So Drake there, everybody's there, lying around the block. He's the man. So they doing this together. Here come the problems. Problem one.
Talk to me.
Problem one was there was a weird relationship with, and this is according to her, so it's always another side of the story,
No,
right?
go on.
There was a weird relationship with um the owner, who was the husband.
The husband.
Hold on, side note. He couldn't be on none of the LLC paperwork because he was a felon.
Right.
Liquor license, all these type of deals. Like he couldn't
So
sign.
shout out to her for putting all of that.
She
you know
put
what I
everything
mean,
in,
her
but he
name.
came in, brought all the capital,
Yeah.
promoting
Made
it,
it work
whatever.
together.
So she's paying him as an employee of the business. Okay. But they're married. So what's hers is his, what his, her, whatever. They get some investors. Guy give them $30,000 to start everything, open up. Okay, everything's going great. There was a weird relationship going on with the husband and the accountant. I don't know if the accountant was a girl or a guy. I'm not going to get into that.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. It doesn't confirm that. But she basically says there was a weird relationship going on there. And for some odd reason, some money started getting shifted in different ways. And they owed one of their food vendors like 300, $400,000.
Oh wow.
Because you know, as with food, it's small margins. You got to buy the turkeys, you got to buy the chicken, you got to buy the bread, you got to buy
Every
this.
day it expires.
Exactly. So and they got 30-day net terms. So what happened is when the money got funny, if I'm doing $100,000 in business with you each month and you bring me 80 one month, we're gonna keep doing business. I'm just like, okay, you got to figure that out, but we're gonna
Exactly.
keep doing business. I'm not about to lose my multi-million-dollar contract over $20,000.
But as it goes on, recipe for disaster.
20,000 turned into 50, 50 turned into 100. You know, they get into it. 100 turns into 300,000. Lawsuit comes. Okay, we're gonna figure it out. Lawsuits. Most people settle lawsuits. They settle it. Now they got like a $40,000-$50,000 a month installment on top of what they're already doing. Now the husband, he's the reason that they got this funny money going on, according to Nakia. We only have her perspective.
Right.
She said he gets on the phone after they established the settlement and they owe $400,000 and cuss the supplier the fuck out. So they cuss him out. They get into it. So the supplier, you know, that ruins that relationship or whatever. So now we got a lawsuit going on there. They can start litigating that. Okay. By the time the turkey leg hut is growing. All of this under the table. People don't know. It was some alleged, I don't know.
Yeah, like a little while ago, there was some rumors.
There were some rumors and alleged of some infidelity in the relationship.
Who was cheating, the husband or the wife?
They say the husband. Now,
Okay.
now, if you know anything about Texas, it's 100 degrees every day. Like
Right.
it's very hot.
Houston in particular.
Houston.
Yeah.
It's very hot, very humid. Sun's always beaming. It started trending on social media that they implemented a dress code.
I remember
because
that.
women was coming in, ass, titty, you know, everything, cleavage, everything showing out. And then
the
they
Houston
implement,
outfits were Houstoning.
yes, and then they was twerking. You know
Because that was the vibe.
That was the vibe. They had liquor. You know, it might be a hookah somewhere. I don't know if hookah was popping then, but you know the vibes. And one thing led to another. Allegedly, somebody slipped to the bathroom and did something. I don't know if this was really happening.
Oh, wow.
And somebody got caught in actions.
Oh, wow.
So that's what led to the dress code, and it was marketed as the husband is saying, y'all got to have a dress code, because if the wife said it look like she's a bitter, you just don't want no fine women around your man, whatever. This is all alleged.
Yeah, she should have just left.
This is all. Can you really? Okay. Can you really leave? You got your whole life wrapped up in the middle of them. She could have left then. She didn't. She stuck beside them. They still growing the business.
Okay.
Okay. Remember that investor I told you about for $30,000?
Yeah, the 300,000.
No, no, no.
The investor.
The investor gave them
Got it.
$30,000.
Okay.
The investor wants out,
So they want their money back.
they want their money back. There was some funny stuff going on with the accounting, and they tried to value the business to where they can pay him out cheaply. He didn't go for it. He files a lawsuit. So it's the second lawsuit going on. He files a lawsuit against
He
them.
wants to see the paperwork now.
He wants to see everything. He wins an arbitration of $900,000. $800,000 for his equity. 900,000. I mean, 100,000 for lawyer
Legal?
fees.
Yeah.
So that's 900,000. But that wasn't the only investor. There were other people that were invested.
So now here they come, right?
Now let me look this up real quick. But there was some gospel artists. There were some gospel. Can you look that up for me? Gospel artists that sued the Turkey Leg Hut owners.
Okay.
There were known gospel artists. They invested in it too. So they like, hold on, he getting paid out 900,000. What our equity worth? You know, my equity might be worth a little more, or it might be worth less.
So now they're ready to cash out because
now
they
they're ready
probably
to
see
cash
the
out.
problems coming and they're like, let me get my money now.
They see the problems. They see all of this going on. Now, mind you, again, everything that's alleged in this is the husband's fault.
Oh, James Fortune. Oh, wow.
You know who that is?
Yeah. He's a big gospel star. Big time.
James Fortune and his wife, they invested. So now they're suing. So that's 3 lawsuits. We got
$300,000 they invested.
wow. So they want more
Gospel's
than
paying good. Okay.
yeah. They want more than 900 if they invested 300. Okay. So that's lawsuit number 3. Now here's where the everything's been blamed on the husband at this point. Here's where the
Kind of
wife
sounds like he's the problem, though. Allegedly.
allegedly. But here's my problem. If you're the owner, he's the employee. Why are you letting this employee run your business?
Well, because he's an owner as well. But you know how it goes when you have a record. And
So
all
do
of
you
that.
not have any accountability for allowing him to ruin your business or ruin the business?
I think she was the face of it in terms of the legal face of it. Like you said, he was the local hood star and knew people. He brought the foot traffic
Right.
to the business. So
Right.
I'm sure that on a local community level, he may have been the face of it. But on a more national level, she's the face of it.
Right.
She's the one that has her name on all of the documents, legal paperwork. She's the business owner. So when these lawsuits are coming, they're really coming towards her. I mean, that's her husband. So inadvertently, he's in it too,
Yeah.
you know. But it's difficult when all these people are suing you, right? They're suing you and your husband, but your husband is a cause of it. It's like
Right.
he's the ops, but he's still your husband and your business partner. How do you deal with that? That must be really difficult.
Right. So one thing that I did notice, and I know this is for fact because I talked to the young lady who sued. So the Nakia is the owner, the face, the legal face of everything, Nakia Holmes. She had like a mentee, a girl that worked there for her, and she like mentored her own business and all of this. The girl go out and start her own business and making like money. She got like a clothing brand, killing the game, right? And they became friends. It was a mentee mentor situation. Then they became real good friends. She called and asked the girl because she was in legal troubles or whatever. She calls and asks the girl for $75,000. She's never asked for any type of money. She's like, "Oh, I'm gonna give it right back. I'm gonna do this, whatever." She never gave the girl money back.
Ugh.
So she scammed her friend out of $75,000 in order to float the business, pay legal fees, do this, do that, whatever, right?
Terrible.
Terrible. That was terrible. That's the only thing that I have that's quote unquote on her. So she was getting sued personally for that.
Yeah, so that's terrible. I mean, I'm sure at that point she was robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Right, because at this
it doesn't make it right, but that's how the snowball starts snowballing.
At this point, they're going through a divorce. But you know, divorces take time. It's not like I file the paperwork tomorrow and then we're all set. Like we got millions of dollars.
Oh,
going
I mean, it's
through
going
all
to
of
take
this.
even longer because of all of that.
Yeah, and I believe they just finalized their divorce now.
Wow.
So now she fires her ex-husband.
Mm-hmm.
He's out of the picture. She fires him.
Because now she has a whole new business. Because where I got the turkey for Thanksgiving was called the Oyster Hut.
Hold on.
Oh, okay.
Hold on.
I'm jumping too far
You
ahead.
jumping too far.
Okay.
You gonna be mad too. You gonna be mad. Okay. She fires him. When she fire him, she go and say, "I'm firing him, and we also getting divorced." So everybody like, "Oh my God, whatever." Now under her leadership, allegedly, all the employees not getting paid. You know they behind on bills. They
Of
got
course.
3-4 lawsuits going on. She just ripped her friend off for $75,000. All of this is going on. He goes because he's the neighborhood celebrity, and then he in the hood, so he can do no wrong to hood people, and they never gonna cancel him. They gonna always blame her, right? He set up the Oyster Hut. That's his business.
So what she was doing there? Because I got the turkey from her. Oh.
She might work for him now. I don't know. This is all alleged.
And if that's the case, then I
The
guess
oyster-
they got the last laugh. Then if that's the case,
But they supposed to be going through a divorce though. So I don't know
okay.
if
I
that's
thought the Oyster Hut was hers, but now you're telling me it's his.
no.
So.
Let me pull it up on Instagram. The oyster, yeah, that is his business.
And it's in the same spot. No.
He set it
No,
up-
it's actually not in the same spot. Because Turkey Leg Hut was across from, what's it called, 5015 or something
Yeah,
like that.
this his business. That's him right there.
Well, I'll be dang.
Yeah, this his company.
Okay.
He set this up. Now I'm not debating that she was there. I mean, that's his ex-wife. I mean, but yeah, this is his company. Like he got all the celebrities and who was that? Steven Jackson. Like he set up a Oyster Hut literally across the street from the Turkey Leg Hut.
Yeah.
So when all the people showed up and said like, "Hey, what's going on with the Turkey Leg Hut? We just heard about this."
Right here.
He like, "Oh no, I ain't." He got fired. He like, "No, I ain't involved in that no more. We doing this Oyster Hut over here." So he's selling oysters. He got 80,000 or 75,000 followers on Instagram. He popping best oysters in the South. Like he's rebranding. Like this his vibe.
That's sad, though, because they both brought something to the table that was equally important. And I hate that they just couldn't make it work.
You know what? I'm gonna be honest.
Because I'm not going to devalue what he brought to the table, even though she, was behind the paperwork. Like,
I'm gonna be honest. They did an interview on the Breakfast Club, and some of the stuff that they were talking about, I was like, "This ain't gonna end well."
ugh.
He talked about like he was like a car guy. Like that was his thing. This man talking about he got like 60 cars or like 50 cars. Like he collect cars, and like he be going to the chop shop, and he might bring an old Impala in and
So he's got some
get
expensive
15,
habits, hobbies.
expensive hobbies. And I'm just thinking like, how much money do you got to be making? Because in the restaurant industry, the margins are thin, but their margins probably was a lot thicker because they were selling expensive ass turkey legs and like.
Yeah,
it
but
was
they're probably living a
but-
very expensive lifestyle as well.
And then it's one location, So I'm just like, that sounds real expensive. 60 cars, like
You know how that goes, though. You get more money, you spend more money. Like, people don't look at it from the integrity standpoint of, like, let me live normal so that I can keep my payroll going.
right. So he set up the Oyster Hut. This is his company that he doing this thing. Now, what she's doing, based off of the Essence article, I mean, she didn't end saying like what's next for her. Like I don't really know. It really ended with like he's the reason the Turkey Leg Hut dissolved. He's the reason.
She's doing PR control.
correct.
Damage control.
He was the problem, but
Because
if you
she's
gon-
going to need to get funding to do whatever she needs to do in the future, and she definitely doesn't want to make it seem like she's incapable.
and if he was the problem,
Then why
I
has he
mean-
got a new business already quickly?
well, but no, I'm saying if he was the reason that it failed, if you're gonna give him 100% of the blame, don't you got to give him 100% of the credit?
Typical woman, right?
But now he's doing his thing, so now everybody like, damn, who was the real motion?
Both of them.
It was definitely both of them, but
Because he got a business right now, but we don't know if that man's books is in shambles
Oh,
behind the
yeah,
scenes.
yeah, yeah.
We don't know.
so yeah, it was U.S. Foods that filed. That sued him for $1.2 million. They got sued for $900,000. the other company invested 300,000. So ain't no telling how much they suing them for. They probably suing them for 1.5, 2, $3 million.
You already know how that goes. What did Jay-Z say? Nobody wins when the family feuds.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, and with the 75,000, she ripped her mentee off.
I hate that.
The mentee reached out to me and actually like, hey, can you post this up, expose this, that, and the third. So I was doing my due diligence, and she just was like, we got to just file a lawsuit because, I just need to get my money back.
At the end of the day, the bad press might make you feel better, but the lawsuit is what you have to do. So.
Yeah, you gotta file that legal lawsuit. So that's really the breakdown of everything that went on. I'm sure I missed out. I'm sure there's gonna be somebody in the comments saying, you missed out on this, you forgot this, but I wasn't there every day. But yeah, it was a lot of turmoil that just brought that company down. And so when you hear that, how can, like, where did they go wrong? Like, did she go wrong with even allowing him to have access to the books? Because I mean, he's an overpowering personality. Like,
Yeah, they should have just stayed in their lanes of what they did best. She stay in the lane of what she does best. He stay in the lane of what he does best, and then respect their marriage. Like, you can't start making money and then start cheating on your wife who you're in business with. Even allegedly. You can't even make it seem like
I'm
might
gonna go
be.
with alleged because she could have been cheating on him too. We don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, he hasn't said that. So what we're discussing,
He hasn't said anything.
Yeah, what we're discussing is based on the information that's been put out there. So based on what's been put out there, it's never a good idea, man or woman, to cheat on your spouse who you're in business with. It's not good to cheat on your spouse or
Period,
make
yeah.
it seem like you're cheating, period. But especially when you have a business, like, really, what are you doing?
Yeah, and I just say, I mean, I'm saying alleged on all of that because
it's literally ridiculous.
I don't like.
I mean, it got to the point where they had to institute dress codes. So something was going on there that was not appropriate or making her, feel comfortable.
So you think she should have divorced him before all of that?
I think that there were signs that told her she probably didn't even need to go into business with him in the first place, if you ask me.
If he bringing the people,
I mean, what I'm saying is if the man was a cheater, then you don't need to be in business with him.
you don't know. I mean, you don't know if he was a cheater before he got the money. You know what I'm saying? Man, get a
It
few
sounds
dollars.
like he was already that dude, regardless of whether he had money in his pocket or not. It sounds like he already
That
had
don't mean you a
popularity.
cheater though.
No, it doesn't. But what I'm saying is that a lot of times people don't just up and cheat one day. There have been other red flags there that folks ignored prior to getting to that point. Maybe not. I don't know them folks.
So you're saying once a cheater? I don't know because again, the cheating thing. I'm not gonna put that against him because she could have easily had some type of side dude that we don't know about. And this is her side of the story.
And if she
so she
did,
would never get in that story and say,
if she had a side dude and that contributed to the demise of the business, again, it speaks to what I'm saying, which is stop cheating on your spouses while you guys are in business together.
stop cheating on your spouse, period.
Period. But especially when you're in business together. What are you doing?
the
Marriage
ride.
is the business anyway in itself, right? But then when you're into like a multi-million-dollar business together, I just don't even know what to say.
The rise and fall of the turkey leg hut. I've been wanting to do a deep dive, deep. Like I want to do like a documentary on that because that was just it's like a Hollywood film. The crazy stuff that was going on. I think they could really do a documentary on that.
And they're not the only ones. You remember the steakhouse that was at Atlantic Station? Strip?
Steakhouse.
It's
Oh
called
yeah,
Strip.
yeah. It was
It was a husband and wife couple that owned that a restaurant and a whole bunch of other restaurants in Atlanta, and the same thing went down with them too. Cheating allegations, affairs, abuse,
money coming up funny,
all of that.
lawsuits. So they're done.
They've been done. Wow. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, spouses, married people, if you're going to go into business together, make sure that your marriage is solid before you do that.
I mean, I don't. Even if your marriage is solid, man, it's just like
It's going to test it, but at least make sure it's solid first.
And then you never know how somebody's going to act when they got $1 million. Like how people act without, like you were saying, like the ego with men and all, like.
And with women too.
And
Men
with
aren't
women too. Yeah,
Men
yeah,
ain't the
yeah.
only ones that get an ego when they get some coins. Sure, women do too.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. It's a byproduct of it. It's just more fitting in society when it's the man because we're
Yeah.
used to that.
Yeah.
When a woman gets some money and all of a sudden she starts feeling herself, we're like, whoa, relax. But when a man gets some money and feels himself, we're like, yeah, bro, that's what you're supposed to do. So that's all. It's just unfamiliar territory.
I didn't know about the I knew the restaurant went away, but
Oh
I didn't
yeah,
know
no,
nothing
they
about
had
the
a big old
story.
story just like Turkey Leg Hood. Get
Man,
to
it's
it.
hard to. I mean, it's hard to do a family business, and we just were talking about the distribution and all of this. It's like it's extremely hard to do a family business. But all right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up. Appreciate you guys for rocking with us. Make sure you follow us on Instagram. Follow me at James Hill TV. Follow you, Shorty Mack, on Instagram and Twitter. All
Yeah,
of them.
Shorty Mack ATL on Instagram.
Shorty Mack ATL on Instagram. Make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you guys like. We're gonna keep coming and bringing you stories. That Turkey Leg Hut story, while it's not a great story to tell, it will really make great TV. And I really think they should just sell the rights to Amazon or one of these places to be able to pay their creditors back and get
They
back
might
on
as
square
well.
feet.
She's doing interviews with Essence, so apparently she has no problem putting her business out there. So you
It-
might as well capitalize.
yeah, so just sit down in front of a camera, sell it for a few $1 million, pay your creditors,
Yeah.
pay the